How does a narcissist cheat so effortlessly and never get caught? What do they really do when they realize that you figured them out? When you leave, what brutal stages do they go through behind the scenes? And after you're gone, what twisted tricks do they use to pull you back in? Let's talk about it. Last week, I sat down with a narcissist. Not just someone with narcissistic traits, a clinically diagnosed, self-aware narcissist with extreme antisocial tendencies, who manages their disorder with therapy and support groups. We talked for hours, and what I learned shook me. And it will change how you see them forever. This is rare insight, and it's not what you expect. Narcissists survive on lies, control, and manipulation. They need you to stay confused, because if you see the truth, you become a threat. They cheat, they lie, they gaslight, and when they get caught, the mask slips. The first reaction, rage. Not sadness, not regret, not shame, anger. Why? Because it's the easiest way to shut you down. You catch them cheating, they don't apologize. They scream, "How dare you go through my phone? How dare you accuse me?" And suddenly, you're the problem. That's DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. You'll become the villain for catching them in the act. They deflect, they accuse, they flip the script. Why? Because truth exposes the shame that they cannot face. But it gets darker. Sometimes they don't react at all. No anger, no denial, just indifference. Yeah, I did that, so what? That should scare you more than the rage. Because now, they know you know, and they don't care. And if they're not hiding anymore, they're not limiting themselves anymore either. Now it escalates. More gaslighting, more silent treatment. They push you until you explode. So they can say you're the crazy one. You try to talk, they give you nothing. And eventually, you're the one crying, yelling, begging for honesty. They lie so well, you start to doubt reality. You saw the messages, the photos. You know what happened. But somehow, you still ask yourself, was it really that bad? That's how deep the manipulation goes. And here's the truth. When a narcissist is exposed, they can become dangerous. It can turn physical. It can escalate fast. Please be careful. If you're seeing these signs, you need support. Make a plan, get help. Protect yourself, because when they feel exposed, they will do anything to flip the narrative. They'll smear your name, turn people against you, make you doubt your own memories. They'll act like you are the narcissist. They actually tell you. They accuse you of being a narcissist. And if they can't control you anymore, they'll destroy your reputation instead. That is why calling someone out rarely works. You cannot convince them to change, he said. If they can't own the small lies, how will they ever admit to being a narcissist? You think exposing them will lead to healing? It won't. It will lead to more chaos. So what do? You stop arguing with their lies and start protecting your truth. You get quiet, you get smart, you get out. Because here's what most people don't realize. When they know that you know, and they still don't stop, that's not just toxic, that's dangerous. And if that scares you, good. Because fear is sometimes the first step to freedom. But now, let's answer the deeper question. The one I asked my interviewee after reframing my question almost 10 times. How do they get away with so much in the first place? How can a narcissist juggle multiple affairs without missing a beat? You're struggling to keep up with one relationship and they're balancing 5. Here's why. They don't care. They're not overwhelmed by guilt. They're not tormented by empathy. In fact, empathy is something they use, not feel, he said. This is especially true in covert narcissists who can fake empathy to get what they want. They know what hurts. That's how they control you. And guilt? It might show up for a second, but they've trained themselves to block it out. Because if they felt it fully, they would have to face the truth. And they won't. So what drives the cheating? The lies, the manipulation, control, ego, validation. They don't want love. They want worship. When you say love, my mind goes blank. I just don't understand what you're talking about, he said. They want to be the center of your world, and everyone else's too. They say they love you, they cheat. They say you are their soulmate, they lie. They say they are sorry, they're not. Narcissistic love is conditional and strategic, not emotional. You were never the focus. You were the fuel. So how do they manage all the lies, I asked. Gaslighting. You catch something, you bring it up, they flip the script on you. That didn't happen. You're overreacting. Stop being insecure. They deny, deflect, attack. And suddenly, you're defending yourself instead of exposing them. This confusion is how they stay in control. If you can't trust your own mind, you'll trust theirs. Now this next one hurts the most because it's designed to break your confidence. Triangulation. They introduce a third party on purpose. The coworker, the ex, just a friend. They praise that person, compare you, create competition. Now you're chasing their attention again. It's not just about cheating though. It's about power. The moment you feel jealous, desperate, or insecure, they've won. Compartmentalization. This is the part that messes with your head the most. Narcissists live in boxes. In one box, loving partner. In another, secret affair. In another, victim of a cold marriage. They jump between these realities like nothing's wrong. That's how they can say they love you and still cheat on you on the same day. Out of sight, out of mind. If it's not in the current box, it doesn't exist. That's why you can catch them red-handed and they'll still deny it. It's not that they're forgetting the truth. They're ignoring it. Now add in the fog, fear, obligation, guilt. They throw 10 lies at you to bury one truth. And while you defend yourself, the real issue gets buried. This is how narcissists maintain chaos, control, and multiple lives without consequence. So what happens when you leave? When the narcissist doesn't get to discard you first? It's not just a bruise to their ego, he said, it's war. At first, they don't believe it. Oh, she's not really leaving. She'll be back.
Because in their world, you belong to them.
They don't see you as a partner. They see you as property. And when property escapes, that's betrayal. They could abuse you for years, but the moment you walk away, you're the villain. How could you do this to me? As if the cheating, the lies, the gaslighting never happened. They don't care what they did. They care that you had the audacity to leave. And that's when it shifts from disbelief to rage. Suddenly, they're crying, texting, showing up, but it's not love. It's control in costume. If I beg, maybe she'll come back. If I guilt her, maybe she'll feel sorry. If I cry, maybe she'll forget what I did. These three were the first three thoughts that crossed the narcissist's mind when his supply left him. So if you see crying, if you hear begging, these are not genuine. They're just trying to get you back. So please do not go back, because none of it is real. It's not regret, it's panic. You took away their power, and that power, it was everything. So what comes next? Smear campaigns. They tell everyone you're unstable, crazy. They paint themselves as the victim before you even speak. They'll post on social media, reach out to your family, tell your friends half-truths wrapped in charm, because if they can't control you, they'll control the narrative. And just when you think it's quiet, they'll show up with someone new, a new supply, smiling, posting, playing perfect. And if it stings, because part of you wonders, why wasn't I enough? Listen carefully to me. You were always enough. They didn't replace you. They replaced the control they lost. And the new person, they're just next in line for the exact same pain. And don't let that mask fool you. They're not better. They're just rebranding. And here's what most people miss. Even with a new supply, they might still come back, still text you, still stalk you, still try to hoover you in. Why? They want access to you. Emotional access, sexual access, attention, ego boost. Whatever you gave them, they still want it. And if you respond, they win. Even if they are begging, even if they are crying, even if they finally say everything you wanted to hear. It's not closure, it's bait. And the moment they have you, they'll disappear again. Because in the narcissist's mind, the goal isn't love, it's leverage. So if you're out, stay out. No contact isn't cruelty, it's protection. You don't need to respond. You don't need to explain. You don't need to prove anything. The narcissist already knows why you left. They just don't want you to remember it. It took me 6 hours on a bus just to sit down with my interviewee, someone willing to speak openly about narcissism from the inside. It wasn't easy, but I knew this story needed to be shared. If this gave you clarity or made you feel less alone, please subscribe. It means more than you know.